or out in the yard or on a beach somewhere or, I don't know, maybe in Alaska. We appreciate you too, but let us know if you're watching us for the first time or the 40th time. Put up a little heart. And if this is your first time, let us know where you're watching from. And if you'd like more information or to get on our email list, you just send us a note and unityathens@gmail.com. Send us an email and we will get you on our list where you can find out all the cool things that we are doing. Unity loves to start everything with prayer. So if we would, let's center. I'm Reverend Bronte, by the way. Let's center and just breathe for a moment. If you've been busy or a lot on your mind, just let it go. Just let it go. Breathe. Center into the knowingness of your own innate divinity, your consciousness, that light that is within you, that shines so brightly, even when you don't think it is. We thank Infinite Spirit, Divine, Holy, All God, for this beautiful day, for sunshine and clouds, for breezes, for our experience of living on this planet. What a wonderful gift we have just by waking up this morning and being alive. We see people coming into our lives today that we can bless with a kind word or a smile or a how are you. We see the blessings we can send out from our innate consciousness to others just by thinking about them, sending them light and love and well-being. In all of these things, we are so very grateful. And we say, thank you, Infinite Spirit. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for all the sounds in the world. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to add a prayer today, seeing it is 9/11 today. This came out in a Unity email yesterday. It was written by Reverend Sandra Campbell, who I had the pleasure of meeting when I was up at Unity Village. She is the Associate Minister of Unity Temple on the Plaza in Kansas City, Missouri. And it goes like this. Dear friends, today I remind myself that grief is a gift. I remember where I was, what I was doing, and the grief I felt on September 11th, 2001, at the news of the terrorist attacks. Grief is a natural reaction to any kind of loss, whether it is the loss of life, the end of a relationship, or the loss of employment. It is said that whatever you feel, you can heal. Whatever you feel, you can heal. You might want to say that with the I. Whatever I feel, I can heal. So when I feel a sense of loss, I take a deep breath, acknowledge my feelings, and picture the perfect outcome. I center my thoughts on the truth that something good will emerge as I wait patiently for that gift to appear. I affirm something good is going to happen to me, for me, through me. Something good is going to happen to me, for me, through me. I'll do it one more time. Something good is going to happen to me, for me, through me. That, she says, is the gift of grief. So beautifully put, Reverend Sandra Campbell. For our daily word this morning, Michelle Brown will be reading it, followed by the reading of the Unity Nugget, which is coming from our wonderful abundance program, our expected, unexpected income program, the prayer for that. Well, we'll start with Michelle Brown. Thank you. Is mic on, Kevin? Okay.
Good morning, Unity. Good morning. Today is Remembrance, and I just want to make a little announcement. The church now has daily words available. many years ago. The people for whom I care deeply are alive in my heart. If I feel sad or lonely for those I miss, I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made even ordinary days feel magical. Reflecting on the love and the joy we shared and the blessings of their lives afforded me, I feel comforted. I am thankful for those memories will always be mine to treasure. I know that life does not end with death. Life is eternal. And my loved ones will always be beautiful. Beloved expressions of spirit. I am grateful those who have passed from this life experience continue to live in spirit and are forever in my heart. And our scripture today is from Psalms 112, verse 6. For the righteous will never be moved, they will be remembered forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle and Mary Connor.
Good morning, Unity Athens.
Good morning.
Your daily prosperity prayer. I breathe and relax, knowing I dwell in the midst of divine abundance, affirming infinite spirit as the source of my supply. There is no lack or limitation in my life. I am unlimited. God comes to me through expected and brand new avenues. Spirit works through a myriad of positive ways to bless me. Wonderful events, people, and circumstances show up every day. Life delights me. I open my mind and heart to receive my good. Knowing this truth, I live with confidence, ease, joy, appreciation. I am so grateful. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Mary. We're having mic issues this morning. Yay, mic issues. So, again, just thank you for being here. We're so grateful to John and Dan for being with us this morning and their beautiful, beautiful music. We have some announcements. Yay, announcements. Come here in person. The energy is fabulous, and people keep saying as they are here that it's just so wonderful to be back in person. We love our space, and sometimes I just come in here and bask during the week. It's just so many beautiful memories, so many beautiful people, so many wonderful things we have done, and we're just coming back into full life again, and we expect to have lots of wonderful events and things going on in the coming months. Speaking of which, we will have an event this coming Saturday that we're participating in, and that is Pride Fest, which is going to be going on all week. But then on Saturday, there is a big, big celebration at Terrapin Brewing. And I don't have the address with me, but it's in all of our announcements and on other posts on Facebook if you're watching on the live stream. We will have a booth up there. And many thanks to Michelle Brown for donating a tent to keep us out of the sun a bit. We're going to be handing out all kinds of goodies, including some wonderful booklets specifically written for the LGBTQIA community, and we have 100 of those to give out and some many other things. What we don't have completed yet is enough volunteers to help with that. I will be there from noon until 8 o'clock, and I would like some breaks. And I know that you will show up and help me. I have a few people signed up already. And you don't have to be able to sit and give a discourse on the complete history of unity and exactly everything we believe in to help. You can just help hand out pamphlets or hand out smiles or say hello or bookmarks or whatever else we will be giving away, and just to greet people so they understand, and the larger population of Athens understands just how diverse and just how welcoming and what a safe place Unity Athens is to worship your view of God. So easy to sign up. All you have to do is let me know, and we'll probably be sending out a sign-up sheet this week also. Other things that are going on, Peggy Olson is beginning her Thursday early AM class from 6:30 to 7:30, and I believe that starts, it's either this Thursday or the following one, but we have information on that, and all you have to do is email Peggy, and we will put that email up later on also. Next Sunday, because it is the end of Pride Week, consider wearing your Pride colors to Unity Athens when you're here, and we will have some music. We'll be announcing that also. Next Sunday also, licensed Unity teacher and Unity Athens member Beth Beloit will be sharing music and message. I will also be here because of Pride Week, so it's going to be a grand celebration next week. Wow, that was a lot of announcements. Yay, announcements are done. Yay! How about a little warm music as we go into meditation, Dan and John? Breathe, and we begin to relax and let go for this time of meditation. Some of us like to have our feet flat on the floor, if that's comfortable for you, feeling the energy of Mother Earth coming up. Focusing on faith. Our feet represent faith. And also focusing on divine order in our lives. That is our unity power for the month of September. Divine order. Seeing things flowing in order, seeing us flowing with order in our lives, knowing that all that is is flowing to us in beauty and grace. And as we breathe and as we begin to relax and allow, might turn off your lights or light a candle, might shake off anything that's on your mind or on your heart. Allowing the good that you know, way in your heart, the good that you know that is in you and in everybody in this world. To touch you as you touch them. Like a magical broom, gently sweeping out thoughts of anger or unforgiveness, not enough, distress, worry, fear, gently sweeping all that away. Decluttering, if you will, our minds from anything that does not serve us, that does not lift us up. That does not remind us of well-being and light and love. You are love. In the gift of meditation, we allow all is wellness. And even though Spirit is always within us, we always have that connection, it can feel like sitting closer to Spirit. In a wrap of love, of healing, of well-being. And as the heavier things are swept away, our body temple feels lighter and lighter and is lifted up as we turn more deeply within for a few moments of deep silence, aware of and listening to the voice of Spirit within. Join us in that silence now. What a gift we give ourselves when we turn within, knowing that we can do this at any time during the day, Anytime we're feeling stress or worry, even if just for a few seconds, and don't close your eyes if you're driving, but we can always turn within and just know our own magnificence, our own bright shining light as we turn on the lights this beautiful sunny day. Perhaps give yourself a hug if you're inclined to do that. Just give yourself a hug and love yourself. Maybe whisper, "I love you," followed by your name 3 times. I love you. I love you. And if there's someone deeply on your heart today, someone your mind is with, picture them in that hug and tell them, "I love you. I love you." And if it's someone that has transitioned out of life, you can give them a hug and say, "I love you. I love you. We love you." How about a little bit of music while I'm kind of reshuffling my notes and coming out of that very quiet space? Yes. John Miley and Dan Roth. Yes. They have a wonderful CD. We have some copies available on the table. Miley Roth, Residential Sermons. And you didn't write these exactly for churches, did you? But it and wrote it in an apartment during the pandemic. And it's all church. Everything's church. Thank you so much for being here today. I love Catherine Ponder. How many here have read something of Catherine Ponder over the years? All those books she's written, and still in the body. I believe she's in her 90s now. I saw a photo of her the other day. She said this: "When anyone asks you how things are, Declare the truth as it is on the inner plane. Tell them that things are getting better all the time, that you feel great, and that life is wonderful. Things are getting better all the time. I feel great. Life is wonderful. What a great thing to remember as we're talking about divine order today. And there's an affirmation for order on the front table. If you didn't get it, feel free to pick one up later. These kind of evolved over the years. Unity Athens here, we started writing them every month and putting them together, and now they are actually all on the unity.org website. We're very honored and pleased about that. So it's for September. It's the ability to organize, balance, sequence, you feel that energy, and adjust. The disciple is James, the son of Alphaeus, and he represents the harmony and balance available through centering our awareness. In this moment, I turn within and recognize my connection with infinite spirit. I call on divine order to aid in my daily journey with balance and momentum. If life seems to be different than what I would like, despite what Catherine Ponder said, everything's fine, but sometimes it's not exactly what we want, I now visualize what I do want. I allow myself to relax and know that life is unfolding beautifully for me. If I'm wishing for something that has not yet appeared, oh, everybody think of something that hasn't quite appeared yet, but you sure wish it would. I'm able to trust that my good easily comes to me through divine timing. I take time to appreciate the beauty and the order in our world. Think about it. In nature, in our universe, nature exhibits perfect timing, balance, and well-being. I now affirm and accept this well-being for myself and for others. As I create a sense of order in my home, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, my work and my activities, I find peace and balance. I see my body as being blessed with divine order. Take a moment, if you will. See your body being blessed with divine order. Everything working in synchronicity and perfectly, all those billions, I guess, of cells just doing their job and knowing exactly what to do. Health is a divine quality. It is healthy, whole, full of energy and life. We choose to live our lives as loving, harmonious, delight-filled experiences. We choose to do that. I can say that every day. I choose today to live my life as a delightful, loving, harmonious experience. I glow with the wisdom and love of God. Feel that? And it glows back at me from every person, place, and thing. Feel that glow. So I've been thinking about divine order all week, and I was at my meditation area in my special studio room for that yesterday, and it's just kind of sitting there and getting the vibe. Hadn't started meditating yet. And I happened to look over. I was finishing up reading this medicine cards book because I draw these cards, which are like animal spirit guides. And I know pretty much all about every one of them because I've been doing it for probably 30 years. But I thought, well, I don't have the book handy, and there was one, I think it was Jaguar, and I didn't know what it stood for. So I thought, okay, well, I went across the room, and I got the book, and I looked it up, and I was reading about Jaguar, and that was very cool, and I was like, I kind of was going to throw the book on the floor because I wanted to meditate, and I said, no, put it somewhere, be in order. So I reached over, and I put it on this shelf that I have there, and then I looked at the shelf. And here's my book. It was kind of askew, and there were 3 notebooks in there. That one was upside down, the other one was kind of hanging over the edge, and then there was this old thing, and I wasn't sure what that was back there, just all on one shelf. It's like a cubby thing with lots of shelves, but that shelf got my eye. And then there were all these really big pieces of paper. You know those wall calendars that you can write on and then you tear it off month by month? Well, I use that for some of my writing assignments. So after I tear it off, I don't want to throw it away. I go like, I need to organize this. I need to take the things I wrote on this big, handy organizer and put it on a smaller organizer so I remember what dates these things happen. But every month when I tear it off, I generally just fold it up and stick it in that particular shelf. Kevin has the picture of that before shelf. And then there were also a couple of loving and wonderful leftovers from my dog, Mr. Pancake, who made his transition last December. And we have that, Kevin, before shelf. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going, there's the shelf. That's the after shelf.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. There's the before shelf. You get a sneak peek at the after shelf. So that's what it looked like. And there's not a ton of stuff in there. But I was like, I'm going to meditate on divine order, and I've got this shelf that now has my attention. So I went over there and moved those notebooks so they'd be straight, and I took that yellow empty folder that was sitting there with absolutely nothing in it, and I put it somewhere else and straightened things up. And what did I do with those big sheets of paper? I moved them to another shelf, but that's beside the point. So then we have the after shelf, which you just got to peek at. Now, doesn't that make a difference? Can you feel the difference that makes in our lives when it was cute, and then I put a little praying women candle thing on top. But that's like what divine order does to us. And sometimes it's a shelf, sometimes it's a drawer, and I don't ever put myself at task to go through my whole house and do that, because that would be really stressful. But one thing at a time, right? Just one thing at a time. And that is exactly what happens with our thinking. But as I was starting to move into that, I'm looking at my altar and I'm sitting there and it's going like, we want to go to church too, we want to go to church too. So we have a picture of that. I promised my altar things with my crystals and stuff that their picture could go to church too. A little delay on that. Okay, it's getting ready. It's still probably prepping itself. There we go. So yeah, and then I said to myself, well, gosh, this table, and it's a lovely table that I found in a secondhand store, it never seems cluttered. Never seems cluttered. All the crystals and all the little bowls and the candles and the cards never seems cluttered. Why is that? Because I'm very mindful when I sit there and I put things in a certain way, and they're all very sacred to me. So what does that have to do with our thinking? I think it has to do this with our thinking. That our minds get cluttered with negativity, with false things appearing real, with our judgments, with the way we look at the news and the world, and we start devising worst case scenarios and most awful case scenarios. If we allow ourselves to be led by the news, we will easily fall into hate of certain people that spend a lot of time on the news, because the news does what? The news wants to sell news. It's part of them as a business. So they generally will bring up the most distressing things. And yes, it's good to know what we can pray about, whether it's fires or floods or wars or lies or people hurting each other or our rights getting changed into something we don't want that we had. But all that can get very cluttered in our minds. And it can cause us, I believe, to not live the best life we can, like Catherine Ponder was saying in that quote. Are we going to go through the world saying, oh, well, how are you doing? Well, let me tell you. what about Mr. So-and-so doing such and such, saw this and that on the news, or, oh, I'm so distressed about what's going to happen to our country or our future. Great to get out there. Great to raise your support for causes that you love and care about. Great to initiate change. Great to know new language, like the language of LGBTQA, gender fluidity. As some very precious grandkiddos were telling me as I was reading about Ferdinand the Bull and saying, look at this, written so long ago. And yet it shows Ferdinand being both feminine and strong and living its own life. Oh, that's gender fluidity. You need to remember that word, Bronte. I was okay. But when we're all caught up in all that stuff in our heads, and it might not be world stuff, it might be our own stuff. What am I going to do next? What do I need to let go of? How to move forward? How do I want my life to be? Can get very tangled in our minds. Just tangled up. We're going to read a version of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic in a little bit, and it talks about tangles. Yeah, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. It's like tangling up when we don't forgive, when we get caught up in other people's things. So this week, remember that worry is the waste of God-given intelligence. Dreaming about super worst-case scenarios is a misuse of our fabulous ability to dream and daydream. Do you remember when you were young, maybe laying on your back in the grass on could be a summer day, could be a spring or a fall day, and imagining the clouds and thinking what's in them and creating with them, like Sean Arrington was singing about just a week ago? Did we ever lay on our backs as children and turn those clouds into worst-case disasters? Well, maybe, it wouldn't have been a horrible thing if we did. Like, I see eagles coming down to get me. But certainly not the worst-case scenarios that we can dream up these days. So think of your thoughts and your life as those type of clouds where you have the ability to adjust them. Let's remember to put God first in our thinking, which means all good, which means divine well-being, which means how do I want my /our world to be? How do I want it to be? How do I want it to be? How do I want to see it? What do I want to see in the world that's already amazing, fabulous, beautiful? And how can we focus on those things? That's divine order in our lives, putting God first, clearing space, doing a little straightening, whether it's on the shelf, in our relationships, in our forgiveness, or in our lives. Mental clutter is something we can put back in divine order. Watch our words. I tell myself that because I go there too. Watch our words. Are we saying what we want? Are we talking about what we don't want? And if you're watching from home, maybe just, if you feel like it, jot down a little thing in a note of something that you love, that brightens you up, that makes you feel so very much better. Share that with somebody else today. When you see someone in the market, in the street, or in your head, you can send messages from head to head. Sometimes people even get back to you and say, at 3:02 today, I was thinking about you. And you go, That was me. I was thinking about you at 3:02. I happened to look at my watch, and there you were, and I sent you love. The person might say, yes, I did. Or about 20 minutes ago when we were doing that hug and hugging somebody, don't be surprised if someone calls you today and says, you know, at 11:34 Eastern Time, I felt like you were giving me a hug. Yeah. And you go, no, that's not correct. It was 11:31. So please keep that in mind. I was watching a general preacher last night on TV. I'm not going to name any names. It was really good. It was a story about Saul and David and the cave and all that. And I was like, okay, let's remember to keep our thoughts elevated, you know? Let's remember these lessons that we learn, whether it's in the Bible or somewhere else, that we are empowered spirits of the divine. And we demonstrate that to others. And as we do that, it lights something else up in them. Just like have you listened to someone like Michael Beckwith or other really great speakers and just feel kind of lit up from them? That's what you actually do to others when you share your divine good. And we will close today with that Aramaic Lord's Prayer. A couple quick announcements. Please remember, sign up to help with Pride Fest. We would love that. We have our Expected Unexpected Income program going on. It started last week. You can join anytime. It'll go to the end of October. We've got a team that's going to be praying over everyone that's signed up. The bags, you'll notice, the gift bags are especially pretty this time. We haven't done it for 2 years now. And so there's that added benefit. You get a wonderful free gift bag just in time for the holidays with lots of goodies inside of it for you. And you just sign a little pledge card saying you will tithe 10% of unexpected income during that time frame, and we'll be holding you in abundance. It's been so much fun over the years. People come in and say, my God, I got this insurance check I wasn't expecting for like $400, or somebody else say, I won a contest, or someone else will say this or that. We do appreciate your support at this time. We've been asking for it and sending out some letters, and support is really important to keep us going and going forward. So now, as we think about our offering and our gifts, put the thought of our abundance over our hearts, the thought of our well-being. Hold that. Know that you are a conduit of infinite love and abundance. And as we give, we receive. We suggest you give or tithe to where you're spiritually fed, whether that's an institution or a person or an organization. And as you let go freely, it flows back to you freely. We have a love offering affirmation that we call our sacred exchange, because we know as we give, we receive. We have baskets around the room, and I'm going to go over and bless our sacred exchange basket in a moment. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am so blessed. Thank you. Your name for God, infinite spirit, God. Amen. And so it is. I'm just going to walk over here for a moment and bless this basket. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. The basket is singing. I can hear it singing. Okay. The basket will be our guest musician sometime soon. Thank you for your love offerings. I know those that are watching online and people donate regularly through Easy Tithe or PayPal. You can find that all on our website at unityathens.com. Thank you for that. And we just hold our hands up for a moment and say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Martha Cook is our prayer chaplain today. If you would like to have a prayer after the service, just go up to Martha and say, hey. And she'll say, hey, would you like to pray? And you can say yes, and you can go off privately somewhere and pray together. Always a blessing. We are so honored and blessed to have our prayer chaplain team. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I love the prayers that I get from my personal prayer chaplain. We're going to have more music from John and Dave as we close out today, rather than singing the peace song, because their songs are so peaceful and full of love. But I want to share this from Neil Douglas Klotz. I was trying to get his name right in our Thursday class, which has one more session. We're taking a week off, and then we're starting a new book by Raymond Charles Barker called The Power of Decision. Now, the Aramaic language is the language we believe Jesus actually spoke. And each word is like a poem in itself. There's multiple interpretations. So the Lord's Prayer that we often pray has been more, anglicized. It's been changed and interpreted so many ways. These are the ones that call to me. O birther, Father, Mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. Focus your light within me. Make it useful. As rays of a beacon show the way. Create your reign of unity now. Through my fiery heart and willing hands, your one desire then acts with mine, as in all light, so in all forms. Grant what I need each day in bread and insight. Subsistence for the call of growing life. Loosen the cords, the tangles we talked about. Loosen the cords of mistakes binding me as I release the strands of others' guilt. Don't let surface things delude me. Don't let surface things delude me, but free me from what holds me back from my true purpose. From you is born all ruling will, the power and the life to do, the song that beautifies all. From age to age it renews. Truly, power to these statements. May they be the source from which all my actions grow, sealed in trust and in faith. Amen. And so it is. We'll just repeat our prayer of protection by James Dillett Freeman, Unity's poet laureate and very prolific author. And then we'll turn the music over to our wonderful musicians, John and Dan. The light of God surrounds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of the love of God enfolds us. I'm reading it off of there, and it's making me miss. Okay, I'm going to start again. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And if you can't remember that, there's a copy on the moon on a microchip for real that an astronaut took up there. So you're certainly welcome to go on a moon escapade in the future and find that prayer of protection. We're going to turn it over to Dan Roth and John Miley. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you. They've got their CD handy, and let's give them a huge big round of applause. You at home too. Thank you for your music. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Are we still going?